Do you want to become a $1 million government contractor, but you're stuck in the private sector, unsure of how you can navigate through the government marketplace? In this video, I'm sharing possible gaps you may have that could very well be your pathway to your first $1 million year as a government contractor. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Felicia over at FeliciaStreeter.com. I'm your government contracting strategist. Over here on our channel, we help minority and service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses navigate through the RFP process so that they can build past performance, get 8A ready, and win $1 million government contracts. If you're looking to grow your government contracting business, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and stick around for trainings that we put out on a weekly basis right here on the channel. And you can also binge watch all of the trainings that we already have here on the channel. So make sure you check those out. So today in this video, we're going to be talking about sitting in the prime position, your sweet money spot, pricing and profit, beneficial relationships, and being a CEO of $1 million business. Having $1 million business as a government contractor is possible, and it is open to anyone that want to take advantage of the opportunities that the government set aside for small business owners. So if your goal is to get your business to $1 million a year and you'd like to limit the competition, definitely consider the federal government marketplace. The opportunities are there. All right, let's get into the 5 steps to securing your first $1 million government contract. Step 1 is all about being positioned to win. Setting a solid government foundation is very, very important to the success of your business. Think of it like building a house. You need a solid foundation to build a house on so that it doesn't shift, the foundation doesn't move, so that the house does not crumble. Well, the same thing holds true when you're building your government contracting business. And then just like any other relationship, think about relationships. You know, you're dating, you're in a committed relationship, you're getting married, same thing. You have to build a solid foundation in order for it to grow and in order for it to last. And we want your government contracting business to last for as long as you want it to last. So we want to make sure you build a solid foundation that you can build a successful business on. The first thing you have to do is allocate the time. Understand that getting into government contracting is not a quick fix. It's going to take time getting through phase 1, as I like to call it, the positioning phase. And the first thing you have to do is get your business registered with SAM. That is a process, and it is time sensitive, but you don't control the time. So once you submit your application, you have to wait for the government to actually activate everything. So it's very time sensitive in that regard. So for example, if you're looking at an opportunity to bid and you have not done your SAM registration, it probably won't be done in time for you to bid that particular opportunity. So it's always better to do it sooner rather than later. You also want to make sure your business is positioned to take advantage of the set-asides that the government have for small and minority-owned businesses. So I'm talking about small business set-asides. I'm talking about woman-owned small business set-asides. We're talking about the 8A set-aside, the federal hub zone set-aside. So you want to make sure you have those as well. If you're looking to do even state, local, county government, then you also want to make sure you have your minority certifications, your disadvantaged business certifications as well, and then your state hub certification if you're looking to do things at a local level. Now, this is very, very important, is having the correct NAICS codes, all right? A lot of times I see people selecting codes that does not relate to what they're doing. And it's very, very important to make sure you have the right codes, because a lot of systems will send you opportunities that are coming down the pipeline that you can bid on. But if you don't have the right NAICS codes, then those opportunities won't be a good fit for you and what you do. So really it's a waste of time and your effort in going through those. So make sure you have the right NAICS codes and all of the NAICS codes that qualify and correlate with what you're going to offer to the government. Now, here's the sad part. Most people stop after this and think it's done, and it is not. Okay, this is just the beginning. Foundation is just the beginning. Phase 2, we talk about performing the work. You have to find projects that is a good fit for you. All projects are not going to be a good fit for you, even if it's the type of work that you're going to perform. So you have to know what is a good fit for you in your business and what aligns with where you're currently at in your business as far as capacity and resources. Also, it's important to future pace. Once you know who's your customer, you're able to see what opportunities they have coming down the pipeline, and you can future pace by getting your company positioned and ready for those opportunities when they hit the street. As you're taking your business to a new level, as you're expanding, growing your business, taking on larger contracts, longer contracts, future pacing will be very, very important because it will allow you to look and see any deficiencies that you currently have, and then you're able to start working on those deficiencies as you prepare for those opportunities that's coming down the pipeline, whether that's you're needing more resources, you're needing more cash flow, or maybe you need to team with another company so that you can expand in that regard. So think about future pacing. Once you know who's your customer, definitely something you should be doing all the time. You want to match your company with government agencies. Now, what do I mean by that? You need to know your company inside and out better than anyone, and you should. Once you do that, then now you can go out and look at the government agencies, see which ones are a good fit for you, and that will allow you to also find your sweet spot within the government marketplace. Only you can determine what your sweet spot is. Now, I can look at your business and probably tell you what your sweet spot is, but at the end of the day, you still get to decide, right? You're the CEO of your business, and you have to make those tough decisions. Also important on closing out the work is making sure that you perform and you close out a project correctly. And I'm talking about closing it out on time, within budget, and then also delivering on the things that the government has asked for within the scope of work. When you close out projects successfully, that will keep a steady flow of new projects coming in and repeat clients. Question: do you know what gaps you currently have that are preventing you from hitting $1 million a year as a government contractor? Let us know in the comments, yes or no, no or yes. Here's the thing. You have to fill in any gaps that you currently have as it relates to government contracting if you're going to make the government your customer. So one, you're going to have to identify those gaps. So you're going to have to do the work to do that. And then once you do that, the next thing is to fill in those gaps, but also asking the questions that you need to ask to get the answers that you need that will help you move your business forward. Any questions that you don't know the answer to, you need to find the answer. To be successful as a government contractor, you must know your business better than anyone else. Learn what activities you need to be doing on a consistent basis. I always tell you guys, consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds cash flow. All right, phase 3 is price to profit. Here's the thing. Winning $1 million contract does not necessarily mean $1 million in profit. You do know that, right? If you're not performing all of the work yourself, you do know just because you win $1 million contract does not mean you're going to keep $1 million in your bank account. You're going to have to pay your subcontractors. You're going to have to pay your vendors. If you have employees, you're going to have to pay them. And then you also have to pay yourself whatever salary you have. In addition to that, any fixed overhead costs that you have to pay those as well. So understand, just because you win $1 million contract does not mean you get to keep $1 million and you have $1 million in profit. Pricing the profit means you're accounting for all costs. And then at the end of the day, after you've paid out all of the expenses on the project, what you get to keep after that, that is your profit. Phase 4, partnership. I love partnership. This is one of the fastest ways to grow your business, especially when you're trying to transition and move into those $1 million contracts and you're just getting started in government contracting and maybe you have some deficiencies as it relates to your resources. Teaming, partnership relationships is a great way to go when you can find the right relationships. So think about, who do you know and what value do they bring? What do they bring to the table that you need? And then whatever company you're looking at, what value do you bring to the table that they need? It has to be a win-win situation for both companies. I always say you want to create relationships that are mutually beneficial and outrageously profitable. Understand that subcontractors equal money. Now, one, having subcontractors will allow you to take on more projects. That also means more money coming out of the business because you have to pay them. So you have to just think about that. Yes, having subcontractors will allow you to take on multiple projects at one time if you have enough, longer projects, bigger projects, but you also have to understand that they have to be paid and it's coming out of the cost. You want to have relationships that will allow you to build $1 million company. All right, phase 5 is pace. This is one of my favorite phases, I think, because a lot of people don't even think about phase 5. And most people are not even teaching anything on phase 5. Phase 5 is pacing. Let me tell you something. Once you get into government contracting and you start doing good work, okay, closing out your projects on time and within budget and meeting the scope of work, opportunities will come. And so you're going to have to learn how to pace yourself as it relates to your current capacity and how you can deliver on a project and how many projects you're able to take on at one time. Pacing is very, very important because if you overextend yourself, you could lose your business really fast. And we don't want that to happen. So make sure you're pacing. And that's just a mindset shift, really. You have to change your mindset of thinking, I have to say yes to everything, because you do not. You want to say yes to the opportunities that are a good fit for your business, right? That you can do the work, but also that it's going to help you in getting to your long-term goal, because all contracting opportunities will not be in alignment with your ultimate goals. And so you're going to have to learn how to say no. You're also going to have to change your mindset from employee to employer. It's a big difference. But don't forget where you came from, because that's important too. But understand that you're going to have to make that shift from employee to employer. Now you're managing people. Now you're leading people. That is a totally different mindset. Now people are dependent on you for their livelihood. Trust me, totally different game. And then you have to decide, do you want a business or a company? A business, you'll be working knee deep in it, maybe doing a lot of different tasks. If you have a company, now you're hiring employees, you're working with subcontractors, you're taking yourself out of the day-to-day activities, more so you're focusing on business development. So what type of business do you want to have? A business or a company? You get to decide. Now the CEO mindset, which is what I suggest, especially if you want to get to those $1 million contracts, $1 million a year as a government contractor, you're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have to learn how to quarterback without touching the ball. And I talk about that in a book I co-authored, so you can definitely check that out. But you're going to have to learn how to quarterback without touching the ball. If you know anything about football, you know what I'm talking about. Once the quarterback releases the ball, whether he's throwing it or he's hiking it to someone, however that works, once that ball is released from his hand, he's out of the play. Okay, so you're going to have to learn how to do the same thing as you're growing your business to this new level. The CEO mindset is focused on hiring the right people, delegating, having a hands-off approach, and just not being the bottleneck in the business. Make sure everything does not have to cross your desk and that you have to sign everything in order for it to move through the process within your business. Because if it does, you're a bottleneck in your business. What you should be focusing on is strategy. Strategies to grow your business. You should always be focusing on strategy. One of the things I like to say is a lot of times you'll see people, and I always say they're playing checkers when I'm playing chess. Totally different strategy. So there you have it, 5 steps to securing your first $1 million government contract. To identify and begin filling in any other gaps that you currently have that are preventing you from your $1 million a year as a government contractor, make sure you grab the accompanying checklist that I've created for you to help you identify any gaps that you currently have so that you can start working on those gaps, filling in any deficiencies that you currently have that are preventing you from your $1 million a year as a government contractor. The link will be down in the description. Now, if you've been hanging out with me here on this channel for a while and you haven't subscribed to this channel, why not? Don't you think it's time for us to partner on your journey to becoming a government contractor? Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and make sure you don't miss out on any other trainings that we drop right here on this channel. And also, go ahead and share this video out with 3 other people, 3 other businesses that you know. Maybe their colleagues, other small businesses, maybe you know someone that's thinking about getting into government contracting. Share this video out to 3 people. You can click the link to share it out real easy, because let me tell you, there's enough to go around. So share it out, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and remember, you're just one contract away. Bye for now.